Why? What's happening, everybody? This your boy. Yes, sir. We back. It's Monday. What's good, everybody? How you guys doing? What's happening? So, for everybody that's listening in from all over the world, I just want to say hello. Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am here, your host, and today, of course, family, we have another brilliant one for you today. I mean, it is absolutely brilliant. I cannot wait to share all of the wonderful things that we're going to talk about today. But it's a reason. it's a reason. That's what I'm gonna title this. It's a reason. It is absolutely a reason. So listen, for everybody that's logging in, I really want to say thank you. And first, before I get into the show, let me take a moment to just say grace and peace to everybody and hello. I know there's some tremendous, horrific things that's going on around the world right now. And I just want to say hello to everybody. I don't care where you're from, what you're doing, or whatever. I just want to say hello, and it's going to be better. It is absolutely going to be better. I can't say that enough. It's going to be better. I know this weekend I had the tremendous pleasure to do and to speak to some leaders in our business, and we talked about overcoming obstacles. And I kind of slowed down a little bit because I know there's a lot that's going on. There's a lot of stress that's in the world. If you're here in America, gas prices are just exploding. People are uncertain about their jobs, military action that's going on around the world. And I'm sure it's not just like that in America, but it's actually in different parts of the world as well. So I just want to take a time to say hello. I've been thinking about you guys and praying about you guys. It's heavy on my heart. But today I want to say it's a reason. It's a reason. Now, I want to actually get into that a little bit deeper. But before I do, for those that are logging in for the first time or perhaps the second time, spread the word, share it with somebody. Let everybody know that Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette rolls every single Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Monday. So we're here. We have special guests that come in. Sometimes it's just me riding solo, but I wanted to share that with you guys and kind of bring you guys, come on into the family. Come on, be a part. Go like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, send me a message. We'll do all of those good things. And I want you to welcome you guys in to the family, because today I'm going to talk of, man, this is one of those ones, guys, where I just want everybody to just take a moment, because this is a moment. If you're a lady, yep, this for you. If you're a man, it's absolutely for you. So when I say this is a good one, right? I just say right here, this is a good one. So a reason I named it, it's a reason, because we're going to get into that part of actually it's a reason. So there are different things that we do in the world, right? And it's a reason we do certain things. So it's a reason why certain people, let's say, go to church on Sundays. It's a reason why certain people go to church on Saturdays. It's a reason why, women do certain things. It's a reason why men do certain things. It's a reason why athletes eat a certain way. It's a reason why athletes don't do certain things. It's a reason why preachers and priests and pastors do certain things, and the reason why they don't do things. So it's a reason for a lot of things. But today it's going to be a little bit, this kind of make me a little uncomfortable, family, a little uncomfortable. So this one today, it's a reason why men don't express themselves. Yes, it's a reason why men don't express themselves. So when you talk about a relationship, now it's not whether it's friends, brothers, uncle, husband, brother-in-law, or whatever it may be. A lot of times people wonder about men, and sometimes men just don't open up, right? It's a reason why, they don't open up because of this, and everybody give all of these different things about why men don't open up. Well, today I want to share with you guys just a few points. I mean, some real deep thoughts on why men don't open up, right? And when they do, this is one thing. Let me put this out here for everybody. When a man does open up and he share and is emotional with you, and we'll get into all of the details in a second, but I want to share this up front. This is a ding, ding, ding. This is a red alert. This is a write this down. Take this one with you, free of charge. Free of charge. When a man opens up for real and he's vulnerable, lock that away in your heart. Keep that. And he will always share with you those things. But this is the red alert. Ding, 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 ding. If a man opens up to you and at a later date, you decide to use that as a weapon against him, you have lost that man forever. He will never open back up to you fully. He will never be as vulnerable as you think he should be, because that man or that woman has weaponized something that was way deep down in his heart. You can take that to the bank. Y'all can argue, you can fuss, y'all can break up, get back together, whatever it may be. That's okay. But if you use those words against him and weaponize it against him at a later date because you're mad and you want to hurt him, you have lost that man forever. If you're married, you might as well go get the the divorce. If y'all together, you might as well break up. If y'all staying in the same house, you might as well find another house, right? Because you have violated something deep inside of that man, and there's no way he's coming back from that. I'm telling you. Write it down. If you're in a relationship and you're trying to wonder or figure out certain things, peruse back through your mind and ask yourself, did you use something that he told you in confidence when he was vulnerable? Did you go back eventually and use that to hurt him? To hurt him. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you something somebody did me, and I can promise you that was it. They lost me from there. Never open it back up to you. No. Not for me, not for you to use something I share with you as being vulnerable as a man. And then you come back and put it out there and you try. Oh, no. No way. There is absolutely no way in the world, if somebody did that to me, that I'm going to open up to them again and be vulnerable. Nah, I'm good. As one of my friends will say, nah, I'm good, love. I'm good for real. All right. So it's a reason. I know a lot of ladies out there, a lot of times try to figure out why men don't open up. Right. Because I know a lot of times women will be like, I talked to him about this, or talked to him about that, or we did this, and all those things. First of all, ladies, men are not women. And a lot of men don't talk just naturally. They just don't talk, right? But I want to go into this and write this down. So if you have something, write this down. If you're driving, come back and listen to it later. If you're at work and you're working but you can't really write, come back and listen to it later. But let's first talk about is this. One of the first reasons of why men don't talk, we're talking about it's a reason, is cultural expectations. Let me say that again. Cultural expectations. Many men are raised in environments where traditional masculinity is emphasized. The traditional masculinity, which often values strength, control, and emotional restraint. Let me pause right there just for a second. Emotional restraint. That's from saying, don't cry. Men don't cry. Something that's hurt them. Wipe your eyes. Boy, men don't cry. Get yourself together. Stand up straight. We don't cry. That's some of those emotional restraints, and it's later taught. And now it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. So now I stand up and I don't show emotions. And a lot of times We wonder why. That's why. This cultural conditioning teaches men that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness, leading them to suppress their emotions. So think about that, guys. If somebody's always taught you in the culture that being vulnerable is a weakness, and no man wants to be weak. So of course, most men not going to show any of that. They're not going to show it because they think they're showing weakness. And then not only that, it suppresses their emotions. So women, when you're out and you're thinking about why a man doesn't converse, or he's not opening up, or he's not showing emotions and all that, perhaps, I'm not saying this is the reason, but I'm saying perhaps this may have something to do with it, because as a result, they may feel that expressing feelings like sadness or fear is unacceptable, which can create barriers, listen to this, to emotional intimacy. Now, if you're in a culture, and I understand the culture these days, sometimes we have single ladies and single moms, y'all doing a phenomenal job of best y'all can do to raise a male child. Y'all doing a phenomenal job at that, as best you can. But let me just tell you this. Y'all can't raise a man. You can groom him to be nice and respectable and all of that stuff. That's cool. But a man has to create a man. Let me just say that now. Y'all can argue all you want. And as I'm going to say this, argue with your mom. Don't argue with me on this. A man has to literally help raise another boy into a man. He does. Now, I hear a lot of women now, oh, but y'all ain't this and men ain't that. Hold on. We're not getting it. We're talking about you raising a boy to a man. You can't do that. It's the same as me as a male. I can't, much as I love my girls, I can't teach them how to be a lady. A lady has to do that. And a man has to teach a boy how to be a man. It's just that simple. Now, like I said, go argue with your mom. Don't argue with me on this one. That is facts. I'm dead serious. I got some bass in my chest on that. And the reason why is if you have an opportunity and you rode with me on a police department and you see some of the things that we've seen, if you've mentored some of these young men that are out there that have been raised by women, and I'm not saying the women are bad. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they can't raise a boy to a man. They do their best. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of women that have even looked for men, respectable, honorable men, to mentor their child or their children, all of those things. So a lot of men step in and do that. But overall, so you guys will know why men don't open up, it's a reason. That's perhaps maybe one of the reasons, right? Now, in that reason, yeah, there's a lot of solutions we can do. Yeah, in that reasons, a lot of times you want to reach out to mentors, reach out to individuals that may be mentoring programs, regardless of where it's at. As long as it's reputable, as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do and teaching that guy, that boy, how to become a man. Yeah, when they're in sports, a lot of times the coach would do that. But here, let me also say this: in that scenario, ladies, I know y'all gonna be mad at me today, but it's okay. When the coach or the mentor or that uncle figure or that father figure is correcting your child. Now, when I say correcting him, I'm saying legally, properly. And when I mean legal, I'm talking like he's doing something against the law. Of course, we don't want none of that. That's not even into our conversation. But when I'm saying legally, like he's standing up and making him stand up from legal authority. And I call it from your spiritual authority, making him stand up, making him do the things he's supposed to do, making him stand up as a male. Ladies, ding, 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 ding. Ladies, please don't step in and don't talk to my child like that. oh, don't do that and don't do this. Oh, I wish I could say it how I want to say it, but you're turning it around. You're making it into a point to where you thinking, oh, you're too hard on him. No, I'm not, because I don't teach you how to talk to your daughter, or a girl into a daughter. You do them or do things with them a certain way. I don't interfere. Men don't interfere in that. So don't interfere when a man is teaching a boy how to be a man. I know it may ruffle your feathers. I get it. I get it. And I remember a certain scenario. We were in the mall, and a friend of mine was teaching Gabrielle how to do something, right? And I was about to raise up, and she said, no, Stanley, Gabrielle has to do this on her own. Now, she was nice about it and, walked through it with her, and, everybody in the store, they had a good time. They both of them told me, I got to leave. Like, no, Daddy, you got to leave. I was like, all right. And allowed Gabrielle to be taught by, a good friend of mine in terms of what they were doing. Now, why am I saying that? Because I had to stop and realize that I have a really good friend, cool, been knowing her for forever, and making sure Gabrielle knew certain things from a lady perspective. Now, on the flip side, I've had other opportunities to where I've mentored some young men, and I would say certain stuff, and they would absolutely do it, and the mom would be like, "Ooh, it makes me cringe," but I'm there because and you're doing what you're supposed to do as the mentor or as the uncle or as the big brother or as the the father figure. You're doing that, and then eventually they realize, wait, he's responding to that, and you have to realize and recognize that they're responding to that, right? And sometimes it's ladies, y'all are soft, y'all are give in. Oh, okay, sweetheart. Oh, all right, I'm a wash your clothes. No, show him how to wash the clothes, because when he go away to school or he get married or he can still help around the house in washing clothes, right? Or, oh, I don't know where this is, or I don't want to clean my room. Or, hey. I'm about to say something, but I can't. We on the radio. I ain't gonna say it. But you need to get in there and clean your room, right? So there are certain things a man does for a boy child to help him grow into a man. But remember, number one is cultural expectations about it's a reason why men don't open up. So number one is cultural expectations. We went through that one. I'm excited. I didn't start running my mouth. Let me get on to the next thing. Number two is fear of judgment or rejection. Yes, fear of judgment or rejection. Now, family. Woo! I know a lot of times you see men and they walk around and they're strong and all those things, but inside, sometimes men have they have that fear, right? Men may fear that opening up will lead to judgment or rejection from their partner or peers. Think about that. They already are fighting enough battles outside, but a lot of times men will really fear that it's going to create judgment or rejection if they're opening up. That's not a good way to feel, right? It's just not a good, it's not a good way to feel. This fear can stem from past experiences where their vulnerability was met with criticism or dismissal. Think about this. A guy, remember what I first said? If you take that vulnerability and you turn it into a negative or come back later on, they'll never open up again. Here is that part that goes into the judgment. See, when a man opens up and he's truly vulnerable, that is probably one of the biggest signs in saying, I trust you. I trust you with not just my heart, but I trust you with my internal thoughts. Right? I trust you with that. I am absolutely pulling away all of the masculinity. I'm pulling down every single wall, and I am absolutely going to be completely vulnerable with you. And you turn around and turn that into some type of criticism or dismissal? You lucky if anyway, they may not ever open up again to anyone, not just you, but to anyone in their life, because it brings back the fear of judgment, rejection, and that's something we don't want. So consequently, many men choose to keep their feelings bottled up to protect their self-image and avoid potential emotional pain. That, man, that is so good. If a man is literally choosing to keep their feelings bottled up to protect their self-image and avoid potential emotional pain. Wow. See, when we talk about opening up, it's a reason why men don't open up. But when you're talking about somebody open up and somebody judge them in a harsh and negative way and reject them and all those things, and your partner or your wife or your mom or your aunt or your sister or your peers take that and just crumple on them, and you have that experience about when I was vulnerable, they just kind of threw me away, he'll never open up. He won't. And for those that are saying, well, I want to help him open up, it's going to take a heck of a lot of time in that space, because history have told us you don't really care about me. And because history says that, instead of any other thing, they still remember that because it could create some type of emotional pain. So when you're talking to a man about a lot of different things, and you're asking him to be vulnerable, and you're asking him to open up about his past or some things that have happened, you have to be very, 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 very careful and allow him to open up very, very slowly. Because if he opens up and you do it, even if it's a mistake or by accident, or you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, it may be another decade before you even get back to that location again, if at all. So we have to make sure. So remember, number one that we talked about was cultural expectations. Number two, we're talking about, this one is fear of judgment and rejection. So when you add those two together, man, that is a lot. Just that in and of itself, that's a lot. So let me pause here. Ladies that are married to a man and you want them to open up, let's consider some of these. Men that are married to men, and you may be trying to figure out why he's not opening up to you. You might want to consider this. So when you have all of those things going on, there are some things that we may want to consider. Whether it's cultural expectations, whether it's fear of judgment or rejection, we may want to consider that. Now, here is one that I absolutely love how this one is broken down. I want you guys to think about this. This is really, really good. Lack of emotional vocabulary. A lack of emotional vocabulary. Another significant factor is that many men lack the language to articulate their emotions. Let me raise my hand real high. I think it wasn't this weekend. I think it was last weekend. And I just got into this emotional whatever. I was just a spastic, I was a spaz. And I couldn't understand for that period of time why I was in that space. And I remember I was conversing with someone. I just don't remember who it was, but I was conversing with someone and they were saying, well, what's wrong? And I was trying to articulate my emotions. And at that very moment, family, I could not articulate my emotions at all. I had no vocabulary to articulate it to the other person that was there to help, but I couldn't even articulate it to them. So remember, family, sometimes, it's a reason. What happens if they lack the emotional vocabulary? Now, that's that just of itself. So let me finish sharing with you some of the stuff I wrote out. If they were not taught to express their feelings growing up, good goobly goo. If you were not taught to express your feelings growing up, how many people, this go back into so many different things. So from the Black experience, right? There's a lot of emotional trauma that the Black American individuals have went through. There's a lot of emotional challenges there. Men and women. But I'm going to talk about men today. On the male side, there's a lot of times, just in case someone don't know, there's a lot of times a man would say, I just want peace, right? When I come home, I just want peace. And some people may be like, well, what does that mean? Well, and people say, well, I don't want nagging and I don't want this and that and da da da. And people try to really understand, what does that mean? Ding, 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 ding. Let me give y'all a clue. Let me share with you guys something. This may help somebody even as you're watching or listening to the podcast. Think of it like this. If I'm outside fighting already, I'm fighting my supervisor, my director, my vice president, my EVP, my whoever, right? My chairman, chief of staff, chief of board, whatever. I'm fighting all of these individuals outside. The last thing I want to do is come inside and listen to nagging and arguing and why this and da 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 and this, and there's no peace. The last place a man wants to go is walk inside where there's no peace. So sometimes, well, what's wrong with you? You. Let me say it again. If you're looking at YouTube, look at my eyes. Somebody say, what's wrong with you? You. You are the one that's my problem. You didn't create no peace in the home. You didn't. You didn't create that peace. So now that you didn't create the peace, now I'm agitated. I'm locked up. I already, don't have the emotional vocabulary to share thoughtfully with you. Do I want to share? Yes. Do I want a partner that will share with you? Yes. But if you are constantly nagging and all on my back, and I literally just came home from fighting outside to have a home, to come home to a home, to have everything you need, and you're nagging, yeah, that's a problem. So in case you were wondering, that's a problem. So when you talk about lack of emotional vocabulary, sometimes we as men, we don't, because we grew up in a space as Black America to where we were always put down. We were always told that we're less than, and that's not what we want to do. So a lot of times they grow up struggling to identify and communicate their emotional stress. How can you open up and share your emotional stress from your career or your job or your business, and you come home and you keep constantly getting bombarded by emotional stress? That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work, and he will shut down. This can lead to frustration. He can even isolate himself. So you can do frustration, you can isolate yourself as they feel unable to share their inner experiences. Let me ask yourself this question, ladies. And I know, ladies, y'all gonna be like, so everything is about a man today. Well, if it is, hey, if you don't like it, just disconnect. Just disconnect. It's okay. Disconnect. So, but I want to help you, and you might be one of the problems. So, listen. As they feel unable to share their inner experiences, their inner core, they're being vulnerable. Maybe one of the things is, how can I be soft at this moment to allow him to decompress and to come down. You know, every man that I've ever spoken to, whether it's in relationships, whether it's sports or whatever, at the end of the day, all they want is peace, to be respected. They want peace. You know what I mean? They're not trying to have a lot of superficial things, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's what, a lot of men want to protect their wives or their ladies, their family, their homes. They're going to protect that naturally. They're going to step in. They're going to do what they need to do, right? Now, some people may say, well, what is that? See, you're trying to control what that is. How about just be? So when he have a lack of emotional vocabulary, do you have the capacity to sit on the sofa and say, and create a home full of peace? That is something that will absolutely transcend the relationship. Have that home full of peace. So remember, number 3 is lack of emotional vocabulary. Number 2 is fear of judgment and rejection. And number 1 is cultural expectations. Let me do number 4. Number 4 is past experiences. Don't have to go too much into this. But if you have if that gentleman have had previous negative experiences, that can also play a role in a man's reluctance to open up. Let's just be honest. If you've been through something horrible and you see that door coming back to you again, most people not trying to open that door again. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not going to do that, because they don't want to open up that door, because that could create some type of pain. So a lot of times they just don't want to do that. So if a man has shared personal feelings in the past only to have them used against him later, remember that we talked about that earlier, he may become hesitant to be vulnerable again. I'm telling y'all this. Let me tell y'all from my personal, some stuff that has happened to me. And sometimes it'd be like, oh yeah, Stanley, just share. I'm not sharing. No, I am not sharing. Not at all. I'm not being vulnerable about this, or I'm not being vulnerable about that, because my past experience has traumatized me, and for sharing. It has been used against me in the most negative way. So what Stanley has to do is grow past that. Now I'm saying myself, it's other people. We have to grow past that. But guess what? Some people not trying to grow past it, because they say, you know what? It only have to happen to me once. I'm good on that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nope. I am good. So you have to open yourself up for growth as well, men. Ladies, on the other hand, this may be something, write down in your journal or your book or your hand, or keep it in your notebook or in your head, and say that may be something, a past experience. How about this? It may be one day you trying to get him to open up, and how about just a very loving and peaceful conversation. Converse with him and be like, hey, sweetheart, let me ask you a question, and in your most loving and soft tone. In the past, have you ever had experiences that have created an environment that it was negative for you, or that created some type of pain? And allow him to answer that. That will help in the growth of him opening up and creating a communication between you both that is going to be phenomenal. This can also create a cycle where he withdraws emotionally to avoid the risk of being hurt. Same thing. So we want to make sure, as you ask that question, that you're saying it softly, gently, in the right moment, the right opportunity to sit down and share with him. Because when he shared that, listen, he's trusting you with his everything. So you have to make sure that you're in that place, right? And number 5, building trust and safety. Building trust and safety. So to encourage men to open up, it is essential to create a safe and supportive environment. So let's rock and roll with this one. A guy coming home, and when he's coming home, And let's say he forgot to take the trash out, or he forgot to do something you asked, change the light bulb, or something, whatever. And he come home. Please, please, please do not allow the first thing you ask him as soon as he walk in the door with an attitude and ask him why he didn't take the trash out this morning. The first thing we want to do is not ask him why he didn't change the light bulb when he walks in the door. That's not creating trust and safety, right? That's not building it. That's not creating a place where it's a supportive environment. It's safe. What that's doing is establishing something else to where he begins to continue to lock up. And we want men to be able to express themselves. So here's some more about building trust and safety. Establishing trust, being patient, and actively listening. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Actively listening. Not listening, not hearing to respond, but actively listening. Without judgment, that can help men feel more comfortable sharing their feelings. See, when you get a man, ladies, and some men, but when you get a man that opens up and share his feelings, it doesn't make him soft, it doesn't make him weak, that gives him an opportunity to express his softer side and to be vulnerable with his significant other. That gives him that opportunity to share in some deep, vulnerable ways. And he will open up to you. And if you do it right, and if you treat him in that space to where he can open up and he can engage in open conversations and show appreciation, if you can do that, if you can do it and show that appreciation for their vulnerability, that can foster deeper emotional connection. See, a lot of times, ladies, I know you guys want that emotional connection, but sometimes we run the man away from those emotional connections because sometimes of the questions or sometimes the environment or not being patient and not giving him an opportunity to be safe or trust. Because men, contrary to what a lot of people believe, have emotional hearts as well. So by understanding these factors, partners can better support men in expressing their emotions, ultimately leading to a healthier and more fulfilling relationship. So I ask, it's a reason, because it's a reason. So when we open up to all of those different things and we share with so many different people about our emotions, please understand that we are there to help each and every one of us do exactly what it is that we need to do so we can actually be a blessing from the male side to the female side. Because the male or the man, and I'm talking about a real man, I ain't talking about somebody faking, they're going to love you and protect you and lift you and honor you and make sure you're the queen that you are. That's what real men are. That's what real men are going to do. But a lot of times, women will push that man away because he's not opening up or expressing his emotional side. So we got to be careful, family. We have to absolutely be careful. All right. So, all right. I was all nice and cool with it and broke some stuff down. Send me some messages if y'all don't like what I said. I'm gonna respond. Whether you like my response or not, that's on you. But we gonna respond. But no, seriously, I want to engage and make sure everybody's good overall. because right now what's going on in the world and our relationships are important. I'm not just talking about husband wife. I'm talking about friends, relatives, associates, everybody. Our relationships are absolutely important. As a matter of fact, that's one of the principles of wealth, right? Having a wealth of relationship. So listen, let's keep our relationships going. We understand, I spoke on this from the male side of it and the man side and understanding. So I am absolutely excited. I decided to do this one. Can't wait till next week. You know, it's always going to be something powerful, something exciting. So listen, if you guys would do me a favor, go to my YouTube channel. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette. Go to my YouTube channel if y'all would, and just like, subscribe, and share over there on the YouTube side. And you know, just help me start to build my numbers on the YouTube side. I know I'm not one of those big people to promote all of the podcast and do all that stuff. Nah, but I just want to do whatever we can to make sure we have what we need. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Y'all stay safe, stay positive, be uplifted, and stay patient on the things that you're going to do. And remember those 5 points that we want to make sure that we do everything we can for all of our brothers out there that's working and doing what we need to do and how we need to do it. So that being said, I love you guys. I will see you guys next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I'm out. Peace.